love, y'all? It's your girl, Melanie Charles, a.k.a. D-Flower.
And your girl, YunieMo, a.k.a. YunieMo.
And you're listening to and watching the Make Jazz Chill Again podcast. How did we both do that?
It's ingrained.
It really is ingrained in us. Today is just Uni and I in conversation, which is really fun. I like when we get to just talk, me and you.
In person.
Yeah. I love to see your beautiful face in real life.
Just the
screens
and the Zooms and the StreamYards and just better in person, up in our game.
You know what I'm saying? I guess like to jump right in, we are in a very historical time right now. I mean, we haven't had an episode since the Drake-Kendrick beef. We didn't have an episode.
The last episode we did was with Caddy Rodriguez.
Shout out to
Caddy. And we had initially wanted to talk about the Kendrick and Drake beef.
Yes.
But the conversation took a whole nother direction, which is totally fine.
Yes.
But now we actually get a chance to talk about it a little bit. Now that the beef is kind of settled, we have a winner.
It's a very clear winner. I remember we were like, Drake should just stop right now. Don't do another track. And they just kept going back and forth.
The way that the timing of everything is really the timing had a lot to do with who won.
I mean, whoever was going to win was still Kendrick was always going to win.
I was always Team Kendrick. First of all, I want to say that Team Kendrick. A lot of jazz heads in general are Team Kendrick, just because of To Pimp a Butterfly, Terrace Martin, all of those things. The music, his perception and how he puts out music is just
top notch. But I must say, I don't know if it's like first person shooter. Which one? He's like Claudine, Pauline. I packed like some sardines. I kind of like that one though. So I mean, I still am Team Kendrick, but Drake had a few little moments was good.
Yes, it was blow for blow.
Yes,
at one point it was. Yes. Lyrically, definitely was one to watch, and we just came up off of Juneteenth.
Yes,
and the pop out. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched a few snippets. I'm not gonna lie. I'm too jealous that I wasn't there.
I know.
But I am aware of like what went down and like, whoa, like history. Like it was like a history lesson of Los Angeles culture.
It was big time. Just how connected that the community is on the West Coast. The amount of the musicality that's out there. I don't know if there's anyone that. Do you think that there's anyone that can do that, something like that on this side, on the East Coast?
Ooh, in terms of like a MC, or do you mean like in general?
An MC, I'd say, and in general.
I mean,
let's open it up.
Right, like could it be like a musician? Like, I feel like who would be an MC right now that encompasses like that is respected enough to bring out all the people?
That's young and relevant. I mean, you could say Jay-Z, but
I don't think he's like accessible enough. No. Like Kendrick is definitely the people's like man. Like I think that's like a really huge. That was part of like why he won the battle, is because he sort of represents the underdog that's like better than the pop one. You know what I mean? Even though he is pop, like everyone knows Kendrick, but I think the numbers would say that Drake has a bit more fame, I think, pop-wise.
Pop-wise, yes. He's a pop artist.
But in hip-hop, people know what's up. But Uni, that's a really good question. Like, who is a rapper on this coast that could
do that lift? Bring people together and have a show at MSG.
Who would you say, Chris? You would say Jay-Z?
His ear is to the streets.
His ear is to the streets, Jay-Z.
What's happening? He's signing.
He is signing. I don't know if y'all could hear it, but Chris, who runs our audio and stuff, said that he nominates Jay-Z because he got his ears to the streets.
AKA DJ OOOChild.
DJ OOOChild, yes. DJ OOOChild said that. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think the interesting thing that I took from this battle, because, I'm always taking it back to jazz, my corny ass.
No, but that's what we do. What do you mean? It ain't corny.
And I'm always like, what can we do to bring that same sort of energy to the music? And I think unification, but also a little bit of provocation. I think like the reason why this battle was so exciting is because people were kind of going for some blows. And we hear stories of back in the day of like cats throwing music stands at the bandstand if you sound like, if you don't know the tunes.
You sound terrible.
Yeah, if you're like disrespecting the music. And I feel like we've really lost that. Something that we're talking about as we're setting up Uni was like, first of all, the importance of knowing tunes is a lost art.
Yeah, and the only ones that let me say it, the ones that are learning tunes it's when you're in school is when you're learning the most repertoire, and then you carry that with you because that's your time to really get in the shed and practice and focus on solely the music. And then when you leave, you don't really have that time.
You don't have that time
anymore.
But like
I say all that to say, I see why it's less tunes. Also, I think it has to do with people finding their own voice and creating their own new repertoire. I mean, when you look at Miles, he wanted to step away from that in his career, and he didn't want to play the same songs over and over again. So it's like, I see why, because the music progresses and moves on. But when you look back, when you're studying music and you look back, the further you look back, the more you can move forward in a lot of different ways too.
I feel like the importance of knowing tunes is community. Because if we all know this one tune, then we can come together and like play
it together. Yeah.
And I think there's nothing more powerful than that, to go to France, to Japan, and then call Beatrice and like everyone know Beatrice.
Yeah.
And like that's like really like shape-shifting and kind of like radical in a way. And that's why I love Terry Lynn, her new standards like concept. You know what I mean? Like and it's kind of like in connection with what you're saying of like we want to push the times, but I think like always having a bag that we all share is really beautiful. And I think, it's weird me saying that like Miss Trill Jazz, where I'm like, yeah, I mean, I do, right? But I guess I do reimagine tunes a lot. So I guess like, yeah, I guess my thing is always like going back to the things that our ancestors left behind for us. I saw Cecile the other day at Vermont Jazz Fest. She killed it.
Not surprised.
It was the first time I saw her in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she is really a queen at doing the standards. She writes as well, and she has a beautiful pen. But sitting in the audience, because, a lot of times you're backstage when, you don't get to, sit amongst the people. And I could tell that the people really enjoyed how she is interpreting songs that they already know. That's fun.
Yes. Yeah, and we were actually chatting about this the other day. The difference between like an R&B artist doing covers, versus a jazz artist doing covers, but we call them standards.
Yeah,
and it's more welcomed in the jazz space versus an R&B or more popular genres of music. When you do a cover, it's more critical.
It is. I guess because like in jazz, like that was always like part of the formula, like taking pop songs and then making them jazz or black, you know what I mean? Like, or musical theater. A lot of musical theater tunes end up being standards. So that was our power. I guess that was like our rebellion of like, oh, y'all did it like that. Well, this is how and do it like this. Whereas I feel like R&B soul music is about your like an original composition,
original voice, and
an original
songwriter, or someone writing a song for you,
or someone writing a song for you, but like the lyrics and the melodies being like current. Like I feel like the lead R&B, pop, soul singers of all the generations, yes, they do covers and stuff. There are moments of covers, like Gladys Knight. I heard this version of Gladys Knight doing Pony?
No.
Why am I mad? I'm so mad I can't remember the name of the song. And a dozen roses. Come on, Chris, help us out. What song is that? Joy of Laughter. Curtis Mayfield.
I'm still laughing.
Makings of You. Not Pony. My Pony. It does kind of sound the same. I'm dead.
Anyway, sorry.
That's an example of an artist doing a cover. Now, I think that the only time an R&B or soul artist is respected in doing a cover if they do it better than the original, or just like they offer up something to the song that we needed.
A completely different arrangement, different interpretation, different beat, all that. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
So with the idea of like, okay, the battle, this rap battle, and like how can we transfer that energy to the jazz? Like, and I made a tweet about it.
It's a torch. Yeah, it's a passing of the torch.
It's a passing of the torch.
And also the cosigns, the various cosigns of the elders. Because at the Kendrick concert there was Dr. Dre was there. And he introduced, he said, shh, I see that. He came up and did all of that. And he is the elder statesman. And so I say all that is that whoever that is in jazz in particular has to have the cosign of the elders and elder statesmen of some sort, and has a crew around them of the jazz musicians that are also doing all the things too. Yeah. I mean, yes, that's in terms of like a concert like that, but I'm talking about like the battle element. The battle element.
How can we nurture that?
That means we have to go back out to the jam sessions. Yeah. Okay. You got it.
All right, so y'all, you see a little change, a little vibe. We got DJ OOOChild joining in on the conversation.
Glad to be here.
I'm not gonna lie, like DJ OOOChild, you're one of my favorite DJs right now.
Thank you so much.
And I'm very like, I love Pudge. Everyone knows I'm like a Pudge stan.
Shout out to Pudge.
Shout out to Pudge.
And when he left New York, it was really hard for me, but like you have become like one of my favorites. And the way that you interact with a live band when we've been doing our Chill Mega Jams has been so dope. And like you always know how to get the people to move. Like it's like a sure thing. It's guaranteed.
Rocking.
Thank you.
Yes.
I gotta say I'm blessed to be a part of the Chill Mega Jam experience too, because y'all are incredible musicians. So this is a dream for sure.
Thank you, bro. Yeah. So we're just gonna, we're just hanging out.
Yes.
I wish we had tequila.
I know, right?
You could arrange.
But we've been talking about the Kendrick beef, Drake beef, and the culmination, all the roads that have led up to the point where it's clear that Kendrick exemplifies the culture of hip hop, where Drake kind of he's colonized, for using Kendrick words. He's colonized the hip hop culture, and it's kind of the line in the sand has been drawn. And Chris, you're very much steeped in hip hop culture. You grew up in hip hop culture, and now we've kind of roped you into the trill.
I'm getting a history lesson with jazz, and I love it. But no, to what you were saying, what Kendrick did the other night on Amazon was crazy. I watched the whole thing front to back. I think it's important to mention what he did for the city of LA and how even that was a tally on the board for this beef.
Right.
He brought neighborhoods together. I mean, you seen Crips up there, you seen Pyros, you seen Bloods.
Yes.
These are dudes like LA street gang culture is very real. Yeah, it's one of those. So him even doing that as a flex.
Yeah.
I think with that said, Drake's influence on Toronto took a hit also.
You feel like he made Toronto look bad?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially because of The Weeknd. How, you know, the one guy that he had signed to OVO, who was a Toronto native, he's at odds with. So that didn't help. And I heard The Weeknd was at the Kendrick show.
Oh, yes. I heard that too. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Kendrick shot the video for Not Like Us this weekend.
Yes, I saw that.
It's crazy. It's an onslaught, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Culturally.
Yeah. But guys, this is my question. I keep going back to this.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
How do we nurture that type of energy in jazz music, in BAM music? How? Because I feel like jazz right now, I mean, there is like a rebubbling, I feel, but I feel like it's still like a specialty. Yeah. It's not like everyone's talking about who dropped the latest, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's only people, if you're checking for Bilal, that you knew that Bilal just dropped his album, you know? Yeah. So I think that beef is a signifier that we need more conversation musically between each other.
Okay.
You know, and maybe the jam is that space.
That's exactly what I was thinking. What you're doing with what we do with Tro Mega Jam in that regard is great, because if they see, so for instance, an artist like Kendrick can bring jazz to the forefront by working with producers like Robert Glasper, Terrace Martin, right? Also with the Tro Mega Jam, you can bring jazz to the forefront with a feature from, say, DJ OOOChild, who people would just go to his parties. And you know what I'm saying? Speaking for myself, like a lot of the people that I play for, when they noticed I started doing stuff with bands, it was like, oh, this is interesting. Mm-hmm. They'll stop by and see it like, yo, this is dope. But it's incorporating the jazz genre. When you phrase the question, Mel, like, you know, how can we piggyback off the beef? I'm thinking from a hip hop perspective, that beef is real dark. It get dark. It got dark for a second.
It did.
I mean, it did get dark. It did get dark and nasty. It got nasty.
It's hard to bounce back. It's hard to make a positive out of it. And I think Kendrick is doing so. I don't think he's going to do it in tandem with a Drake. You know what I'm saying? That might not happen. You know, maybe it's, okay, we're going to take this opportunity to push LA music to the forefront. And so in that comes a Terrace Martin. People learn about, you know, a West Side Boogie that people are now posting about. I've been listening to Boogie for years. You know, I'm glad he's getting the shine now because of Kendrick. But what we do with Tro Mega Jam is the ultimate key to bringing the jazz music to the forefront, in my opinion. That collaboration is so genuine.
Yeah.
And the music is the commonality.
Yes. I think that you're right, because I think what makes our Tro Mega Jams really special is the DJ element, because you are taking us down a trip down memory lane and like sonically drawing the connections with like what things were sampled, and like maybe we're doing this tune, but that tune was sampled in this. Exactly. I think that especially on Not Like Us, he did do a history lesson about Atlanta, and like just like that, like that whole song is like history. But he kind of called out Drake and other MCs in terms of like dignity in like hip hop and like really being like about it. And I think that like right now in jazz, like it's a little bit like no one's really like holding people accountable. Because everyone's like afraid musically.
There's a fine line to that though, right?
Okay, what you mean?
Because then when does it become gatekeeping?
Well, I think if it's from musician to musician, it's not gatekeeping.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna say because I'm not ready, but there is a musician right now that's been doing music for years that I think is totally like has bastardized the music in the jazz space. And every time I come across this person's music, I'm like offended. Not that I feel like I am an authority on like what is good or bad, but it's so blatantly lacking of like the principles that I feel like no matter if it's 1970 or 2027, like there's certain principles that I think.
You mean like musical ability or just like concepts, sound,
like more like individuality and like honesty. Like keep like if you gonna interpret some music, I'm gonna need you to do something and not. I'm gonna need your album not to sound like karaoke.
I was just gonna. You don't want karaoke.
You know, and then like people like musicians play with this person because everyone needs to get paid, but like I see it and it's uncomfortable for me to witness that. You know what I mean? As a lover of the music. And I connect with Kendrick of like, I feel like he is that similar kind of dude when he sees certain artists like doing certain types of music or certain type of lyrics, whatever, or their cadences are just basic or they don't have any nuance. I'm sure he's like, that's disrespectful to this
art form.
And he called the boy out.
Yeah. Yeah, quite literally.
Can we do that? I feel like jazz is now it's safe. It's too safe.
But see, this is when you get jazz musicians pulling up to the club with switchblades. It turns into hip hop real quick.
Like that. I mean, that Mingus pulled a switchblade on Jackie McLean. Like, and
that's dope shit. I love that shit. You need a little, you know what I'm saying? A little edge.
Yeah, a little street.
I heard that Miles was like shot at on his way leaving the East, I think. The jazz club. Like
that's hip hop.
You know, that's hip hop. It's interesting because
because it goes back. I always it's been institutionalized. There's good things about institutionalization because then there's formalities and then history is written down and people are respected and given honorary doctorates and all those types of things. Like I don't want to take away those accolades to where the credit where credit is due is what happens with institutes when things are institutionalized. But then things like this happen where it is softer, where there that fine line of gatekeeping. Some things kind of do need to be get kept in order to maintain authenticity. But then there's the other side of globality, like things becoming more global, I guess. But I think the part of the reason why it's soft is because it's in the schools.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I mean, I think about hip hop and I'm worried about that because if you want to say that jazz is like the big brother of like hip hop, since as hip hop is one of the newer in terms of our history, I'm starting to see it being a course now at like Berkeley.
Yeah.
And shout out to my bro, he teaches like courses at Berkeley.
Nice.
Radar Ellis. Shout out to Radar. Yeah. We love you, Radar. But like, and that's important because the people need to know certain things. And I think in the hands of the right person, i.e. Radar is the right person to be the one to be educating the generations. I think at the same time, once it starts becoming like other people trying to teach the thing, and then, you know, then it's like, will what happened to jazz, could it happen to hip hop?
Yeah. So also with what you're saying in that regard, I think a key element to this battle was Kendrick calling out the fact that Drake wasn't being himself. And so you saying that you hear, you know, and it sounds like karaoke, you're not being yourself. You're not owning it. You know what I'm saying? And I see the same thing with DJs too, where they're going off of a script and trying to do the thing. You know what I'm saying? And it just comes off it comes off cheesy.
And the people can see that.
And wearing funny hats and stuff like that. And,
yeah.
You know, and that's doing it. That's being the celebrity DJ. And it's just a lot of weird. What can you do? You know what I'm saying? This is what we have to be in the same rooms with these people. You know, we have to eventually cross paths with these people. So, I mean, do you want to be the Kendrick at a certain point in your career? You know, Kendrick afforded himself the ability to do what the he did.
He is in a position to do that.
Yeah. But it's work. Essentially, it also comes down to putting in the grueling work. Where if you are that type of person, Kendrick Lamar, like I was listening to something the other day where they said that Kendrick just does raps and works out.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You can
That's
tell.
his life.
Right.
You can tell.
I mean, it doesn't have to be on a Kendrick level. I always like to like refer back to historically and like listening sessions. They literally called it cutting sessions because Cats was just like shredding.
Yes.
But then
it wasn't that long ago. That's the 90s coming up. But then
they were still doing cutting sessions in the 90s?
Yes. I mean, when you think about the Young Lions, like the Roy Hargroves, Kenny Kirkland, that era of jazz, now we can call it an era.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing. They would roll up, they would cut people in the session, and they would roll up together.
Right.
And now they're gone.
They're gone, but you just said something important, together. Because it was like, it was a cutting session, but Cats was like smoking J's and taking shots after they got cut. You know what I mean? Even if you got your ass handed to you, you still hang with the person that embarrassed you.
I mean, that's the culture that I grew up in.
That's like hip hop.
Yeah.
Being
from Hartford, Connecticut, we had, I don't know what the scene is now because I'm not there anymore, but there was a standard. You had to know the tunes. You would go up, you would get your ass handed to you, and then you would go home and practice, and then you would kick it.
And it was
all love.
But now people too sensitive. People too sensitive.
It kind of just after the pandemic, this is kind of where the direction has been going because people don't want to go out anymore. People are tired. People move. I feel like that's why jazz is kind of where it is.
But I think it's a slippery slope.
I don't go out anymore. Do you?
I mean, I only go out when we got gigs.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think though, the things that really mattered don't really matter anymore, and it's partially because of
Is it the venues?
I think it's because like the whole discourse of like, oh, like I think when you reject the old things, the old traditions, sometimes you lose some important pieces.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Almost like we threw out the whole thing and we needed to keep a few things. And maybe we can like bring it, maybe we can bring foster
it back.
That. Maybe we can work
There's
on
ways
that.
we can foster. I think there's ways, us in particular, Make Jazz Trail Again, can bring it back because there are elder statesmen that are still around that their phones aren't ringing like that. Or if they are, it's like they just go out for the gigs because they have families, because they don't live in Manhattan or Brooklyn or whatever. They're in New Jersey. A lot of these guys, I could name a list, but I won't necessarily have to go there. They're around. You just got to call them.
Yeah.
And tell them to, hey, you want to come to the Trail Mega Jam? Do you want to lead it? And then there's a standard.
That's a good idea.
That they instill.
I think to give y'all credit too, like y'all don't have to play those standards at these events. You guys are very, let me use the word like malleable. Like you guys can shift to whether we're leaning towards R&B. We're leaning towards, okay, this is a blues song. I've seen you come up, do a blues record. All right, we out. And then we back to, you know what I'm saying? That's to you guys' advantage and a luxury with teaching the next generation is, okay, maybe they're not understanding of the tunes or the standards when they're sitting in. However, you guys can help foster that to become regular for them because you guys also do the other stuff. So we're, in a sense, you guys are like the cool uncles and aunts of that jazz thing. No, real talk, because it takes, the approach has to be different from what it was for you guys coming up to what these kids deal with. Real talk. You said they're sensitive. Also, they've got the internet. Okay, y'all are not me on the stand. I'm going to go home and play in front of my TikTok live.
Right. That's the thing.
So you guys have the advantage of bringing these people in, understanding what they do, but also having the roots knowledge of the jazz. Yeah. And then incorporating it too and helping these people understand, oh, I want to play with Mel. I want to play with Yunie. I want to play with Zach. So maybe I should know these tunes. So I could pop up to the next one and we do what it is we do. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely. It's like the whole classic like thing. Like I think we learned this in school. It's like you gotta learn the tune before you can like
do anything.
Do anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? You gotta know the changes if you want to play out. That's the thing. People want to jump and play out and don't even know like the chords, like how, like that don't. You're skipping a step.
Yeah.
You know, before you can reject a thing, you got to know the thing that you're rejecting. So we have a responsibility, I guess.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We got a responsibility. I see it with DJs too. You know, a lot of cats don't want to put hands on vinyl. They don't want to they don't want to lug a turntable. They don't want to know what that feels like. They rather just pull up Serato, put their controller up, sometimes not even headphones, and just press buttons. And I mean, if that gets you by, and to that, about gatekeeping, I know DJs that have done that since 2009, and that's their thing. They own it though. It's like, this is me. I do parties. This is how I do my parties. I don't wear headphones. I'm putting these and I see them rock like that.
Yeah.
He's being him. I respect that. I will call him in an instance, even though he's not going to rock on my turntables. He got to bring his own controller. But at least he's doing him and it's effective. And people know that's his approach. I fuck with it. That's important. It don't look like he's trying to do the DJ thing.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to respect people's approaches these days.
That's true.
Technology's advancing. That's on the DJ part. But to jazz, it's the same correlation.
It's the same thing. When you talk about technology, I'm really happy that you mentioned that, because it's like, it's, once again, it's a curse and a blessing. I believe, you know, a lot of people are just like recording more and like releasing recorded music, but they didn't cut their teeth live.
Yeah.
And then they get booked for some like top festivals and they look crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are the auto-tune artists.
Auto-tune artists.
Studio artists.
TikTok artists.
You know?
You got to tour with your engineer.
You got to tour with your engineer.
Bring him. He going to get you right.
There was some girl, I heard somebody was telling me a story about this girl was like DJing and didn't know the equipment. And like people had to come on, like she was doing like a huge festival.
Coachella.
Was it
Yes, it was the Coachella.
Yeah,
incident.
Coachella. Yeah. And the girl
she said she wasn't good at math. This is too much. I knew exactly what was happening.
What was happening?
Somebody put a set list together. Let's start there. Somebody put her set list together, lined her BPMs up, and what'll happen on these, to get technical for a moment, what'll happen on these platforms is if you have a record that's 120 BPMs, depending on the bop and the amount of like percussion, sometimes your software will half time it. So it'll become 60 BPMs as opposed to 120.
Yes.
She's going through her set, lining these records up as she was told, and hit a hiccup where maybe the BPM was on double time or half time, and so she caught amnesia up there. That's where that happened. Like, she's like, I'm too bad at math for this. It's like, you're not a DJ.
You're
That's
just
what
not a
this
DJ.
is.
Exactly.
And it's okay, but this is not for you to be doing.
But then she shouldn't have been on a Coachella stage.
There are so many DJs
stages.
That's like really unfair to the people that really like cut their teeth, like out here really learning how to be a respectable DJ. And that's the thing. Like, same thing with you know, in live music. And I can't believe I'm like feeling like I have to say jazz bam. We talk about those two things all the time, but here I am like jazz bam. Okay. A lot of cats know what they know. And like something goes wrong, like, or your bass player don't show up, or like something's going on. Do you know how to jump quickly?
Exactly.
Right. Can you be malleable?
Comes with experience.
Yeah.
If I seen another video of it, which is inexcusable, but with Lil Boosie's DJ, his laptop died while he was doing Boosie's set. Ooh. Now, he was kind of screwed, and Boosie was going off at him because he just didn't have his charger. But in those instances, as a DJ, I mean, coming up, to tell y'all, and I know y'all got war stories too, I've gotten called last minute to do like a 40-year-old birthday party in Newark, and I was like 18, and I had just started DJing out like that. I've been DJing since I was 16, but out in clubs. I mean, they were booing me. Like, if they could have came up to that balcony, thank God I was up there.
Oh my God.
Somebody would have strangled me. And so you go through enough of that, your laptop dies. You know how to grab that mic and keep people engaged until your shit gets plugged back in and we're back up and running. So in an instance with her, she had a mic there to tell people she couldn't do math, but keep these people engaged while somebody else figures something. That's part of the chops, like as a DJ.
That's part of the chops.
You got to have a couple of war stories to get to that point.
I mean, wait, what were you going to say? I think something that I think about a lot is like ageism in our industry, in all the different legs of this music, how like youth is really, really like almost fetishized, and like once you hit a certain age you're kind of like disposable. But as we're talking about this, it is reminding me of the value of the amount of time we've been around, you know. And like, at least I'm speaking to myself, maybe you don't have this thing, but I definitely, due to like things that happened to me in my career, have felt the effects of feeling like,
oh, absolutely,
you're not really relevant no more. You know, there's this younger person coming in, or it's too late. I think what's really important, I think one, the years that we've been around is an asset rather than like a curse.
100%.
But also we have to still stay current. Mm-hmm. And a lot of our jazz OGs were like always played with younger cats, like Kenny Garrett. Like,
yes,
he don't be having old people in his band. No. He's like, I'm the oldest one here.
That's so true.
That's important.
Yeah, you know? I mean, I always come back to Miles. I don't know. He's one of my favorites, and every evolution of his band, every era of his development, always a new band. Like, he's the one that discovered Tony Williams, and then he went on to play with John Coltrane, and all of the fresh new talent of that time then turned to icons. They were always in his band first. So like that's like the example of that.
That's how it goes. Yes. And staying relevant is so important. I don't know if I talked about this on this podcast already, about Dee Dee Bridgewater, how I ran into her. Shout out to China Moses. We love you, China. China kindly invited me to come hang out with her and Dee Dee for Dee Dee's birthday. A couple of people were gathering, and I was in my little depressed thing, as I be getting depressed, y'all. And I'm like, this music thing, this is not what I signed up for. Why I have to promote? Yeah. Like, I just want to make music. And she was like, you gotta stay with it, or you're just gonna be bitter. You have to move with it. And she has been around for three times as long as me, and has seen so many changes in this music. Right. And even she still has the positivity of like, this is what it's about. You gotta, you gotta move through all the things.
But to go back to what you're saying about ageism, and then and these situations that happen where this lady was on a Coachella stage and she clearly did not have put the time in, and that is the result of the industry being ageist.
Like the industry did that to her.
Yes.
Yes.
And I wonder how to make that stop, because it's the talent bookers, the agents, the wanting to sell of seats and making money. Like, I get it.
Well, like young youth sells, like youth.
Yeah, youth sells youth. And people want the youth in the space.
And youth talk about things, they rally around things, they squat up around things more than like older people maybe, but like older people have money. I kind of think you want everybody. The goal is for everyone to be part of
I think with that Coachella thing, it's a deeper, darker link with her, because isn't that Elon Musk's
what's the girl's name?
Oh my god, she's an artist. Man, what is her name? I forget. It's Elon Musk's wife, or the mother of his kids.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
That is a deeper
putting her on that stage could have been linked to a bigger picture.
Yes.
I mean,
this is her first time out DJing, by the way.
And the first time is going to be Coachella. Disrespectful.
Yeah.
Disrespectful.
Oh, that's beyond ageism.
That's
industry.
Nepotism, all that stuff.
Yes.
Well, so in buttoning up about the Trill Mega Jam, I think what we're trying to say is, we want you to come to the Trill Mega Jam and sit in, regardless of what your specialty is or how long you've been playing or whatever it is. Like, we really want it to be a safe space, but like a space to grow and stretch, to share, and to get your mind
to the lineage. Yeah. As I think as we go along, we're going to be incorporating more. We're incorporating more guests, people that are in
that
respect the culture of the music.
Yeah.
but while keeping it open and welcoming at the same time.
Absolutely. So we look forward to seeing y'all. Make sure you stay tuned on all of our socials so you can see when we're doing our Trill Mega Jams. I feel like, it's time for us to start winding down, but I would love for us to share with the people the stuff that we got going on.
Yes.
Yunie, why don't you go first?
Yes, there's a couple of things that are going to be happening soon. DJ OOOChild and I are going to be performing at Seaport Beach Fest in Manhattan between Pier...
17?
Yes, Pier 16, between Pier 16 and 17. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be also opening up for Black Noise, which is going to be fun. But we're going to be doing our thing.
Nice.
Together.
Y'all are a dynamic duo.
Yes. And then Sonic Messengers is back.
Yes!
After a short hiatus. We're going to be at Superior Ingredients Rooftop. And it features my bro Ace-Mo. Shout out. I'm wearing his merch today.
Ace-Mo.
Save the World.
Shout out
check
to
out
Ace.
That record. Yes. And Chanel Johns on vocals and GBD. We're going to be rocking out. 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. July 26th.
Fire.
Those are the two next things.
Nice. I think hopefully this episode goes up in a few days because I would love for y'all to come check me out on June 30th at Montreal Jazz Fest. Yes. I love Montreal Jazz Fest, and the curation is so cool. 3 Stacks is playing the same night that I'm playing.
Okay.
Yes, I think he's like after, so you can see both of us, okay? We're going to be at the TD venue at Montreal Jazz, and then I'm also doing a set. They're calling it the Haitian Revolution. And it's featuring Jonathan Michel and Theo Abelard from Montreal. Nice. And we're going to be doing like a special like Haitian themed body of music on July 1st. I believe that's going to be. And then I'm doing a tribute to Bobby Humphrey with Jazz is Dead in LA. That's in August, right, Yunie?
Yep, August 25th.
August 25th, I feel like, but go online and confirm. That's been an interesting journey, studying the music of Bobby Humphrey and like getting into her mind, and like I've been looking at interviews and like just like trying to see where she was at when she recorded some of her iconic music.
She's kind of underrated.
Super underrated.
In the jazz world, when you talk to people that aren't like totally in the jazz community, people are outside of that are fans, like selectors, collectors, and things. They know exactly who she is.
Exactly. Right. Outside of jazz, they like, whatever. But inside jazz, they're like, but outside of it, you're right. They really do like see her value. Yeah. I feel like she was really important in bridging the gap.
Yes.
Yep. A lot of people sampled her.
Yes.
The hip-hop. Yeah.
She started her own label and stuff. Like I've been digging deep into like what she's done. And like, we should get her on the podcast.
She's still around?
Yes. That's what I'm saying, bro. Yes.
Okay.
So we got a few connections. We know some people that can hopefully get Bobby Humphrey. We love you, and we thank you for what you've done for our music, and we celebrate you, and we hope that you feel loved because you are loved. Yeah. What else? We got a few more minutes.
We do. What else we got some Trill Mega Jams coming up.
Yes.
So please follow us. Make Jazz Trill Again official.
Yeah.
The next one that's coming up is going to be for the Charlie Parker Jazz Festival. And on August 25th at New Blue. So we'll be back at New Blue again.
Yeah.
And
we wanted to talk about mental health today. We only have 10 minutes left, but I guess we could just do like a mental health check where everybody here.
Important.
You know what I'm saying?
Important.
Who wants to go first? You want me to?
Yeah, you go.
Okay. A few weeks ago, I shared on my social media how I've suffered with depression and anxiety for years, not really realizing that it was depression and anxiety, just thinking that that's normal. And the past few months have been like, I think been the lowest that I've ever felt in that regard. But right now I'm sort of like turning a corner, and I'm really grateful to my friends, you guys, for like always making space for me. And even when I'm like going through my like beating myself up or being like ridiculous, you guys have continued to be so kind and patient with me, and I encourage everyone to please do the same for all your friends, because you really don't know what people are going through.
Oh, you're true. You're true. You're tried and true and correct.
So I'm feeling all right.
Yes. I think for me with mental health, I tend to make myself super busy to kind of get through things. And because I think a lot of it kind of just comes from my sense of self-worth. So when I'm busy and doing things, I deem myself as worthy, which isn't always the best way to think. And because it's just being busy makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I have worth in my life. And then just the other side that I deal with is lying to myself about just my worth as a musician. And being on both sides can get kind of tricky, because I notice how people treat me when I'm a musician, and then how they treat me when I'm a booker or a programmer.
When you're playing those different roles.
When I'm playing those different roles, how musicians will treat me differently, or an agent will treat me differently. So it's tricky to navigate.
Yeah.
And I have to constantly tell myself, like, girl, you're a boss.
You are unique.
Stand in who you are.
In all the roles.
In all the roles, and imposter syndrome can kind of seep in, and battling that. A lot of people battle that.
A lot of people
do. So it's hard to admit that on camera. Yeah. Because it feels vulnerable.
Yeah.
But I know that it's going to benefit whoever's watching. So, and then just, that's like that life. But then there's family too. So struggle while being busy, it's like trying to figure out how to be there for my family at the same time. And then physical health. So, yeah.
A lot. But you're doing great, Uni.
Thanks.
How about you, DJ OOOChild?
Yeah. A lot of what, a lot of what you both just said definitely applies to me and what I go through day to day. However, one thing that I do want to say and I'm sure you guys can relate, speaking to the audience more so, if you guys happen to feel any of those things like what Mel and Uni just described, just keep in mind the goal or what makes you happy, and pour into that, whether it's family, whether it's your creativity, whether it's your journey and your career. Just make sure you pour into that positively. We all, we get bogged down with the day-to-day and the schedule, whether it's touring, whether it's creating, but showing that you guys make the effort says it's your passion, right? So a lot of the times I have to remind myself, hey, if it was all said and done, if I had to leave tomorrow, are you happy with what you left behind and what you put out? And so every day I try to make that my goal. Okay, what's the next move? All right, me and Uni working on something. All right, Mel want to do something. All right, we're going to put this together for Zach, because this is what feels good to us. We're doing something that matters with dope musicians. Yeah. I think we have to give ourselves that credit. Mel asked me the other day after my Industry City set, and it stuck with me. She said, "Are you feeling yourself?" And
I hope you were feeling yourself.
No, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, but Uni being around me for so long understands how I kind of just go through the steps that I go through before, during, and after a set like that or a party. And it's so second nature to me that, yeah, sometimes I need that reaffirming, like, hey, to bring it first in mind, like, yeah, you're tired. Yeah, you have a headache. Yeah, you've been running around all day, but look at what you just did. Look at the smiles you left on people's faces. You got people, they did their cardio for the day because of you. There's a lot to take away from just those instances. What we did for Zach the other night, I know that it's just super appreciative because, from the grassroots level that we're doing this shit at, we get to make those decisions as to how we want shit to look, sound, and so on. And I know that's so important. Shout out to Dara, also part of the production team for us at Make Jazz Trill Again. You know, we look out for each other in that way. And like I told Uni the other day, I'm like, we have to take pride in what we're doing, because this shit is, from what we started to what it is now and what it's gonna be, is all the fuel I need. You know what I'm saying? This is the music and the creativity is my refuge, and I'll just leave it at that. We deal with bullshit as Black folks in this world, period. The minute we walk the outside, that's a whole different podcast episode. But the music is my refuge. The creative process, the relationships, and the building for other people's brands as well is what enriches me. So when it's all said and done, that's what I'm happy with, and that's what I hang my hat on.
That was beautifully said. Yeah. Do we have a third host? What is this? Was this your audition? Did we just audition
No, listen, I'm just talking my shit, yo.
Yes, he's our Aaron Parks.
That's
He's our Parks.
Just talking my shit.
He's our Parks. He parks.
All right, well, Dara is over here waving us down, talking about she wants Trill Trivia. Did you think of a Trill Trivia?
I had Trill Trivia.
Okay,
Yeah, damn. Y'all got something for me?
Yeah, put Chris on the hot seat.
Maybe you got one for Uni and Mel on hip hop.
On like hip hop?
Oh yeah, give us some
Uni
hip hop.
would win. Uni will wipe me clean.
Yeah, do some hip hop.
Okay.
Trivia. I like that.
Good one, Dara.
Woo. Okay. Okay, let's do this. All right, I'm gonna just do some, like, it's not just gonna be jazz, not just gonna be hip hop, it's gonna be music in general.
Yes.
Can you name one of these artists that happens to not be from Buffalo, New York? Okay. A, Rick James. B, Norman Connors. C, Benny the Butcher. Or D, let's name a band, Stone City Band. Which of the four is not from Buffalo? So we got Rick James, Norman Connors, Benny the Butcher, and the band, Stone City Band.
We think B.
Norman Connors.
All right, there we go.
Yeah!
Okay.
That was fun.
Yes, I love not being the children. Right.
Y'all want another one?
Yeah, give us another one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it geography based, because why not?
Okay, Jeopardy. Jazz Jeopardy.
Which one of these figures are not from Queens, New York? Okay. Mike Geronimo. A, Mike Geronimo. B, Ja Rule. C, Ashanti. Or D, goddamn, what's his name? Okay, let's go Jam Master Jay. Okay, so A, who did I say? Mike Geronimo. B, Ja Rule. C, Ashanti. Or D, Jam Master Jay. Not from Queens.
It's either Ashanti or Geronimo. Ja Rule is
from Queens.
Jam Master Jay.
I can't remember if Ashanti is from. She's not from New York. Is she?
I think she. No, she is. I think she is from Queens, because we were gonna put her in Summer Stage. We were trying to have her.
So then A. We'll bleep that out. We'll bleep that out.
No, we don't have to, because it's fine.
Okay, so
what we
had A.
She just got pregnant.
A, Mike Geronimo. B, Ja Rule. C, Ashanti. Or D, Jam Master Jay.
So it has to be A then, because Ja Rule is from New York.
Wait, who was A?
Mike Geronimo.
Yeah, Mike Geronimo.
A.
That's wrong.
No. Okay,
wrong,
then
yo.
it's
So was it Ashanti? Was I right?
Ashanti's from Long Island.
Ah! Yikes!
Okay.
I know, so close.
So close. That's good.
So close.
All right.
That's okay.
You humbled us or whatever.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay.
We gonna remember that she's from Long Island and I'm from Queens.
If y'all got it, Jazz, I mean, y'all can make up for it. Y'all could throw one at me.
Throw one, and then we gotta go. One more.
Okay.
That'll make 3.
Okay. What is the name of the song that was sampled in Kendrick Lamar's song Rigor Mortis?
How you gonna ask him a question like that? He gonna know the answer.
He might not. Do you know?
Let's do it multiple choice.
See?
Come on.
Multiple choice.
Okay.
I love that song.
Exactly. Multiple choice. Is it A? Is it A, The Core by Freddie Hubbard? B, The Thorn by Willie Jones III? C, Members Don't Get Real Weary by Max Roach? Or D, Sidewinder by Lee Morgan?
What was B? What was the name of B?
The Thorn by Willie Jones.
It's that one.
Yeah!
There we go. All right now.
DJ OOOChild.
All right now.
Of course you don't know that one.
Okay.
Well, this was a really fun episode. We hope you guys enjoyed listening to us.
And watching us.
Do you like seeing us? Let us know in the comments if you like seeing our faces.
Oh, we got comments now?
We got comments now.
Oh, no.
But yeah, make sure you come check us out in our various engagements and jams and all that stuff. Come up and say hi. We love engaging with the people who listen to our podcast. And we'll do our sign off. Chris, since you newer edition, you could do the call and response. I don't gotta set you up.
And y'all make sure to follow me at DJ OOOChild on IG.
DJ OOOChild. Is it okay that I say your government name, or you rather not your government name?
Cool.
Said?
Y'all can call me Chris.
Okay. Cool. But DJ OOOChild on the gram and all the socials.
DJ OOOChild.
Yep. And Melanie Charles is D Flower on the Instagram and
YunieMo, YunieMo.
All right.
You'll find me. So
signing out.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay, you do it.
Whatever you do,
remember to
make jazz trill again. They not like us. They not like us. Hey.